Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing something that I think is well overdue, and we are going to be tier ranking my 5-star books. I started my reading journey back in 2022, so it has been quite some time that I have been reading, and my taste has definitely changed since then. I was just a teenager when I started really falling back in love with reading, and now I'm 20, so I'm really excited to see where I will put all of these books that I once rated 5 stars. I have a total of, I believe, 63 books in my 5-star category, so this will be super fun. There's a bunch of different genres and tropes, and just a lot of things that really surprised me as I was adding them into the list. So without further ado, let's go and tier rank all of my 5-star books. Alright, first off, before we actually put the books in the tiers, I'm going to go over the different sections that I have. So at the top, we have Living Rent-Free in my head. These books are the ones that I literally want injected into my veins. My personality is based off them. They will be like the only things I will ever talk about if you know me. So that is reserved for my all-time favorite books. Right below it, we have 6-star reads. So it's not just a 5-star to me, it's even better than that. I would give it a 6-star if that was a choice. Right below it, we have a valid 5-star read. It is a great book and perfection to me. Right below that, we have a valid 5-star. This is an amazing book and is perfect 5-star for me. Right below that, we have You're Good, But You're Not Great. That category is for books that I do not believe I would put in 5 stars anymore. In this category, I probably would change them down to like 4 stars. They are great books, probably even my comfort books, but they're just not giving that 5-star feeling, or I just feel like I've changed so much in my taste that they just wouldn't compare to all my other 5-star reads now. Right below that, we have I can't believe I rated this 5 stars. This is for the books that would be below 4 stars and that I could not fathom why I would end up giving it 5 stars looking back on the book now. I definitely feel like we do have some contenders for that category. And at the bottom, we have I Don't Even Remember Her. This is for books that I literally, if you asked me what happened in it, I could not tell you anything at all. There are a bunch that are like that because it was so long ago. Even some recently, I feel like I've been like that, which is like a really bad habit I'm trying to kick. I feel like this year I'm really going into books, like really intending on like my presence being fully in the book. So I'm hoping that is a habit I can kick this year. However, for books that I don't really remember what was going on or why it would even be a 5 stars, it is definitely going into that category. There's no specific order in any of these books. I just uploaded them all, and whatever way they come, we will place them in. So first up, we have A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I really love Ashley Poston's writing. However, I remember really liking it, but compared to like my taste now, I feel like it wouldn't be a 5-star. I would say probably You're Good, Not Great. If I was to go back and reread that, I believe I'd probably still stay in the 4-star category, but just not a 5. Next, we have All of Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. I am going to put this in I Don't Even Remember Her. I very, very faintly remember this book. Colleen Hoover is the author that really got me into reading, so I binged literally all of her books as soon as I began reading, which was 4 years ago now, which is actually crazy. So I haven't touched them since, and honestly, I can't remember most of what happened in those books. So I'm gonna go put her at the bottom. Next up, we have Bad Blood by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I believe this is the 4th book in the Natural series. I absolutely love that series, and so I know like all of them are in here, so they're all just gonna be grouped together in the 5 stars. Next up, we have Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is another comfort read for me and a valid 5-star. I will go back and read Emily Henry books any time of the year, and they just always have the same comfort and heartwarming feeling to me every single time. Next up, with Book Lovers, it's definitely the same. That is probably one of my favorite Emily Henry books. Great Big Beautiful Life and Book Lovers are definitely my top 2. I know people always argue over what's the best Emily Henry book, and that is definitely one of them for me. Next up, we have By a Thread by Lucy Score. I used to really enjoy Lucy Score's books, and I remember absolutely loving this one, so I believe that would still be a 5-star for me. Maybe that would change, but the memories that I have off of it and how I always think of this book, I do believe I will still put it in 5-star. Next, we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This was honestly like a fever dream series. I absolutely loved it, and I'm really conflicted on this one. I think I'm gonna put it in you're good, not great. Okay, hear me out. I say this because I really loved the series, and I think if you have not read it, you definitely should. It is a great book to get into fantasy, and just like a really fun and like easy read as well. However, I do believe the series does get better as you read it. It's a 3-book trilogy, so I will therefore put Carvel in You're Good But Not Great. She would probably still be a 4-star, to be fair, but I know I did like the later books more. Next we have Confess by Colleen Hoover. I do remember this one only because there was a movie adaptation out, and I watched it and it really refreshed my memories. So I'm gonna put this in. I can't believe I rated this 5 stars because that's honestly crazy to me. I don't know. I feel like that's definitely not my taste anymore. And a lot of like just her writing style and the topics covered in this book, I just don't think it would be of my interest. Oh my goodness. Next up, guys, Shatter Me is one of my all-time favorite series. I read it in high school, and just the characters and everything in it is just so nostalgic to me, and I love it so much. So I'm gonna say Defy Me. I know Defy Me and Imagine Me were my favorite ones. I literally sat down and didn't stand back up until I finished reading it. So these are definitely valid 5-star reads for me. Next up, we have Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This book automatically lives rent-free in my head. I cannot tell you how often I think of this book and the characters in it. A reread needs to happen this year because I just am thinking of it right now, and I'm just like so nostalgic to being able to read it for the first time. And I wish I could get that feeling back. If I could reread a book for the first time, it would probably be Divine Rivals. Next up, a staple, it's Every Summer After. I think she's definitely still a valid 5-star read. She has everything you need from a book, and it's so cute, so comfy, and I still really love her. I really want to continue reading the series, well, the Interconnected series by Carly Fortune. However, I've been trying to read the second book that comes after Every Summer After since it came out, and it is still sitting on my shelf up there, unable to be read. I got about like 100 pages into it, and then I just stopped and never had the urge to pick it back up. But I'm hearing like everybody love One Golden Summer, so I really want to get through these next 2 books so I can read it. So hopefully we can do that this year in 2026. Next is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. She's still a valid 5-star read. I read her not even a year ago, so it makes sense why she'd stay there. It wasn't like anything 6-star, but I absolutely loved the Powerless series, so being able to just get a awesome conclusion to that series was so amazing. I know there's been a lot of mixed feelings on the ending, but I truly loved it. Then we have Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the 3rd book in the Carvel series, and it is definitely the best in my opinion, so she's going into a valid 5-star read. Next up, we have Find Me by Tahira Mafi. This is a novella in the Shatter Me series, and it consists of 2 different novellas in one. I remember I really liked this book because of how involved Kenji was in it. He was so funny, and I would actually laugh out loud. So I know he was the reason that I gave this book 5 stars. However, recently I've been trying to like read different novellas and things, and I just feel like novellas can never really give you a 5-star, honestly. You never get to understand the characters as much or just get a good like plot going, and it's just a fun and cute read, but something that wouldn't still be 5 stars for me. So I'm gonna go You're Good, Not Great, because I know I really did love it, especially already knowing the characters that we've seen throughout the past couple books. Oh my goodness. Next up, we have Fourth Wing. And if you know me, I've had this book on my shelf since the day it came out, and I was terrified to read it for years. I did not read it until I think November 2025, so it has been quite some time. And once I did read it, I was immediately obsessed with it. This is definitely the best book that Rebecca Yarros has made in the Empyrean series. I'm going to say it. Iron Flame was just okay, and Onyx Storm was just confusing and unnecessary. However, Fourth Wing, it's definitely a 6-star read for me still. I absolutely love that book so much, and I honestly can't wait to see what Rebecca Yarros publishes next for this series, because I feel like it has such great potential, but we'll see. Next up, we have Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This is my first B.K. Borison book. I know I really want to read First Time Caller. Maybe we'll get to it this month, but we'll see. But I read Good Spirits for my November book club book, and it definitely did not let me down. Thank you, Kay, for the suggestion. So I definitely think this is a valid 5-star read. It's nothing that's like absolutely life-changing, but just the story itself was so cute, and I'm literally obsessed with it. All right, following that, we have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is 6-star read automatically. I was really scared going into this book because I knew it was more historical fiction with some romance in it. And honestly, as terrifying as that was, I loved it. Like, it was amazing and definitely my top tier Emily Henry book that I've read. It was definitely my biggest surprise that did not let me down in 2025. It just makes me so excited for Emily Henry's new releases whenever she drops her next book. And also it really helps me branch out into different genres as well. I feel like I'm so used to reading just straight up romance, but starting to get into different subplots in different genres definitely helps me expand into the genres that I read. And I love trying new things, so that was an amazing book to read. Next we have Happy Place by Emily Henry. This is definitely a 5-star read still. It is one that I definitely want to go back and reread because a little bit of it is a little fuzzy just because it's been so long, but I remember absolutely loving this, and yeah, it is definitely still a 5-star for me. Next up we have Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. I remember reading this and loving it, but I cannot tell you anything about the book at all. So we'll put that in I don't even remember her. All right, following that we have Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. I don't know why I rated this 5 stars. I remember not really liking the first book, and this is the second book in, I don't even know the name of it. It Happened One Summer? Maybe. Fact check that. But I just remember just loving the music aspect of it, but like, if I was to like go back and look at that book, I think I would probably DNF it, honestly. It's just something that's not in my taste, and I really don't like Tessa Bailey books. Like, no shade at all, it's just a personal preference. I really loved closed door books, and I think one thing that Tessa Bailey does great is open door romances. So if that's your thing, then that's fine, but personally it's not something that I love, and I just remember the plot line really not sticking out to me. So I don't know how that got into my 5-star list. Next we have Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. I'm gonna say you're good but not great. And this is a crazy pull for a Colleen Hoover book. However, I'm gonna be so real with you. This series was actually insane to me. Reading it for the first time, I read it with one of my friends, and I was like flabbergasted by like the plot twist. And honestly, maybe I'll go back and reread it. I think that would be super fun to do, just to go back and read these books that I loved so much. I would remember absolutely loving this book, and genuinely, I think it would probably still be like a 4-star. Next we have If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. Oh, every time I think of this book, I just get like so sad. This was like the first absolutely heart-wrenching book that I have read, and no one prepared me for that. So she's staying in my 5-star reads because if there's one thing I love, it's a sad ending. I'm gonna be so honest, they hit so much better than a happy ending. I know that might be a hot take, but I just love books that can really pull emotion out of me, and I remember sobbing at the end of this book, and it just literally changed my life. Next up we have Imagine Me by Tahira Mafi. This is another book in the Shatter Me series, and it's still a valid 5-star read to me. Love that series. I reread the first 3 books and novella in last March, so hopefully maybe I can get to the rest of the series as well. Then we have It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I don't know why she was in 5 stars. Maybe it's because it's like one of the first books I read, but no, she's not up there anymore. Oh my goodness. Next up, Just for the Summer, Abby Jimenez. Ugh. Abby Jimenez is literally the love of my life. She is so amazing. She's still a 5-star read. I remember absolutely loving this, and most of her, I don't think I've rated a book from her under 4 stars. So yeah. Keeping 13. This is another book that is basically my whole personality. If you ask for a book recommendation, it's probably the Boys Atonement series. If you haven't read it yet, it's on Kindle Unlimited, if that's not like persuading you enough. The series is on Kindle Unlimited. It is so good. It is so engaging. The plot twists are insane. You'll grow such like a deep connection with the characters, and it is one of my all-time favorite series, and I'm so excited for the next book. Next, we have Killer Instinct by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second book, I believe, in the Natural series. She's still a 5-star. I remember absolutely loving the characters, the relationships, and just like the found family trope that we see in this book. It was absolutely amazing. No comments, 5 stars. Kingdom of Ash, that is another book living rent-free in my head. Oh my gosh. I finished this, I believe I finished this in November, and it was 900 pages, but it was 900 pages too short. Like, I needed another whole book length, and finishing the Throne of Glass series, I'm just so like lost on like what to do. Like, I feel like it's wrong to start another fantasy series because I would just be like cheating on Throne of Glass because it was so good. I love it so much. So she definitely lives rent-free in my head, that whole series really. And I really want to reread it again and just go through and annotate it and see what I really didn't notice the first time. I think that could be really fun. But yeah, I definitely recommend the Throne of Glass series. If you have not read it already, it is super amazing. Then we have Legendary. This is the second book in the Caraval series. I'm going to put this in You're Good, Not Great. I think this is still a great book, just like Caraval, but however, third book was the best, so she gets the higher tier. Next up is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is really the only Christina Lauren book that I've ever liked. I've tried to read a bunch of different other books from her, but just none of them stood out the way that this one did. I think this one is still a 5-star read for me. I would love to reread it and kind of just see my new opinions on it, but however, this still gives me a 5-star feeling whenever I think of it, so she will stay there. Next up is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is my first Ali Hazelwood book, and it did not let me down. She is definitely a 6-star read for me, and I really want to reread her. I remember most of the book, however, there are some parts that I just read so long ago that I'd love to just refresh my memory. I was so shocked at how much I loved Ali Hazelwood books. She does romance unlike literally anybody else, and I could read a million more books from her. Next up, we have Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. If you know me, you know I talk about this book with literally any chance that I can get. She is a 6-star read for me. I almost wanted to put her to Living Rent Free in my head. However, I don't know, just comparing it to the other books that I have in there, I don't think it hits at the same level, but it definitely is a 6-star read for me. This is one of the books that really got me into general fiction, and I just am so obsessed with everything about it. I literally could not move once I started the book. It was so great, and I really recommend it. Next up is Never Never by Colleen Hoover. This is one of the books that I actually can remember, and I don't know why I would rate it 5 stars, but like, I liked the idea of the book, like the plot that the book was trying to have. It was like, so basically, if you don't know already, it's like our main characters would like lose their memory like every day, and they would have to try to like figure out what's happening. And I thought it was like such a cool concept, but I don't know, could be better. And for One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, it is getting the same exact category. I did refresh my memory with the movie that came out for this, and I don't know, it's just like none of her older books really stand out to me. I really do like her more recent runs like Daisy Jones and the Six and Atmosphere. I recently read Atmosphere and it was great, but I don't know, One True Loves isn't really something I could like look back on and be like, oh, this compares with Fourth Wing. Like, I love them the same. Like, that is not true at all. So she'll be bumped down a little bit. I still love you, Taylor Jenkins Reid, but that one was just not for me. Next up, we have Picking Daisies on Sunday by Liana Cincotti. This was the most underrated book that I've ever read. I read this last fall, and it really surprised me. I had my eye on this book for a while, and I finally got to it, and it was probably one of the best romances that I have read. I don't know if I want her in 5-star or 6-star though. You know what? She's a 6-star read. I'm gonna be so honest, she's a 6-star read. I loved our main characters and just, actually no. You know what? I remember there's a miscommunication trope, so she's going back down. She's still 5-star, but I just really have this thing against miscommunication tropes, second act breakups, and cheating. Like, this one didn't have like all that, but it had a miscommunication, and that really like bothers me. So she's still 5-star, but for that I'm like, I don't know if it can be 6 stars, so we'll keep her in the 5 stars. So one of the best romances that I have read recently, and I really recommend it. Next we have Powerful by Lauren Roberts. This is the first novella in the Powerless series. And I know I said that I usually don't rate novellas that high. However, I still think this is a 5-star book simply because we follow Adina in this story and we kind of see like the connections that she makes while Peyton is at the trials. It's so heartwarming and sad at the same time. If you've read Powerless, you know how this book goes because it's just a recap but in Adina's perspective. And this is probably the one exception I would make to novellas. And following that, we have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. She is definitely, This is like a tough decision because they are 2 completely different levels. And yeah, I can see the book being in both. I'm going to put it in 6-star reads because if I wanted it and living rent free in my head, I feel like I wouldn't have to think about it as much. So she's staying in 6-star reads. This is definitely one of my favorite fantasy series and I'm so sad that it's finished, but I'm just absolutely in love with everything about it and I'm so glad I found this book. It is a super easy series to get into if you're first looking to get into fantasy, and it's so engaging and fast-paced, and also is a closed door. I love closed door romances, especially when it's like enemies to lovers. The tensions are so high and it was just such a powerful book. Powerless was powerful, I guess. Next up is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is the 2nd book in the When in Rome series. I just finished the series with In Your Dreams that just came out and I am so sad it's over. I absolutely loved all of the characters and Annie and Will were definitely my favorites. I think this is your good but not great. I remember really loving them and kind of like the different personalities both of them had and how well together they still went. But compared to like other 5-star books, I do think it might be a little bit lower. Probably not too much, but still a little bit lower. So she'll go in You're Good but Not Great. Next up is Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is, I believe, the 4th book in the Chestnut Spring series. The Chestnut Spring series literally has my whole heart. I really didn't expect to love it as much as I did. I read the 1st book and wasn't obsessed with it, so I took a long break between the 1st and the 2nd, and as soon as I started the next book, I was absolutely obsessed with it. Reckless is, I would say, a 6-star read for me as well. I used to not even like Winter at all, but getting to read this book and kind of understand her more, it was so heartwarming and she turned into be one of my favorite characters. Next is Releasing 10. This is a 6-star read for me. I loved getting to understand Lizzie and kind of see life through her eyes. I thought her book was super shocking and just really just made me have more empathy towards other people as well. Every time I hear Fleetwood Mac, I literally automatically think of Lizzie and Huey, and I really am so excited to see what comes next in their story. Then we have Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This is the 2nd book in the Divine Rivals duology. I'm gonna put this with Divine Rivals because I remember I loved them both and the ending was a perfect conclusion for the duology. So they are kind of just 2-in-1 up there. Then we have Slammed by Colleen Hoover. I'm gonna put this in. I can't believe I rated it 5 stars because one thing that I kind of realized recently, I was reading, this is a crazy side note, I was reading The Teacher by Frida McFadden, and it was, if you don't already know, there is an adult who has a connection with one of his students, and it was crazy. And even though the student Slammed was 18, I still like don't like when people do relationships between the teachers and the students. Like, that's just not something I love in a book, and it's very uncomfortable, honestly. So I can't believe I rated it 5 stars, but I really did like the poetry aspect of the book. Next, Taming 7, automatic 6-star read. Gypsy and Claire's stories was one of my favorites, and it was honestly way too short in my opinion. I feel like all these other couples got so much in their books, like Johnny and Shannon's books. They had like 2 massive books, but I'm like, I just wish our Gypsy could get that because he deserved that and so much more. This book was so amazing and I really am so excited to see what comes after. Next is a book I read just last month, and it is The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoff. The Bright Years is Sarah DeMoff's debut novel and I was automatically obsessed with it. She's a 6-star read for me, and I genuinely cannot stop thinking of this book, the characters in it, the relationships, and just like, honestly, how shocking it was. There were so many points where I was like, I could not guess what was coming next. And yeah, it just made the story even better. Next, we have The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This is the first book in the Off-Campus series. I think she's still a valid 5-star read. I remember really loving it, and I never appreciate the Off-Campus series as much as I do when I'm currently reading it. I read the first 2 books, but I put so long between the first and the second because I was like, I don't think I would still be interested in this. I don't think it'll be great. But as soon as I picked it up, I was immediately hooked and really loved it. So it really shows how much I do like the series. But now I'm doing the same thing again, and like, I won't pick up the next one. So hopefully I'll pick that up soon. The sun was literally blaring right in my eyes. So we took a little trip. Anyways, back to where we left off. Next up, we have The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. Honestly, it's still a 5-star read. The X-Files really gave me everything that I needed in a romance book, and I'm usually not fond of second chance friends to lovers. That's usually not my favorite trope. However, I really loved this book and kind of how they did it. I just loved the plotline that we were taking on, and I thought it was such a cute and lovable story. Next, we have The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I remember really loving this series. However, I don't know why it's a 5-star. All right, next up, we have The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This, I definitely don't know why it's a 5 stars. I'm gonna be honest, like, I watched the movie and it just really showed me how cringe it was and how much that I just let it slide into my 5 stars. Then we have The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This really helped me get into the thriller genre, and I think it's definitely still a valid 5-star for me. I absolutely loved the storyline we were taking on, and I think the twist was absolutely insane. I did not like the movie, however, but the book, it was so amazing, and it literally put me in a Frida McFadden spiral. Next, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is definitely a 6-star read for me. I think about this book all the time and just how amazing it was. This was another one of the books that really took me from just a genre that I was so comfortable in to experiencing something new. This book had a lot of historical fiction elements in it, and it really just helped improve the story so much that I am so glad I read it, because it really helped me branch out into new different genres. The concept of this book was so cool. We basically followed Addie, who was a young girl who only dreamed to basically be able to live her life because she was from such a small town. So she prayed to this really bad god, and it ended up making her not only have a chance to live, but she ended up living forever. And on the flip side, nobody could remember her. Next, we have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This is still a 6-star read for me. I read it last summer, and I don't know why I put it off so much. I thought it was gonna be so cringe, but I absolutely adored this book. Finished it in one day and was so amazed on how much I could really love a book. Next is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. See, this one's difficult because I remember reading it and I remember loving it, but I don't remember too much about it. I'm gonna put this in a valid 5-star. However, I do want to go back and read it because I don't remember too much about it, but I just remember having this feeling of absolutely loving the book. Next is The Naturals, the first book in the Naturals series. She's also a 5-star. We'll put her up there with the other books. After that, we have The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I like this book a lot more than the second one. I remember reading this and was absolutely so shocked by the ending. I did not expect it at all. I don't know if that was just because it was like one of the first like mystery books I've ever read, but I was obsessed with it. And honestly, I think it would be a little bit lower if I was to reread it, but not a 5-star. However, I do remember really loving it, and I feel like if I went to reread it, I would still really love it. Next, we have The Right Move by Liz Tomford. This is the second book in the Windy City series. I'm so excited to continue reading this series. I know it only gets better. So this is still a valid 5-star read. It's my most recent too. I just finished it last week, I believe. So it's still up there. Then The 7-Year Slip. This is a 6-star read for me. It is by far my favorite Ashley Poston book. This was one of the many times I was so glad to listen to suggestions from people because it did not let me down at all, and I want to reread it. I know, like, I want to reread like a lot of these because I feel like it's been so long, but like I just love them so much. But also working on that physical TBR, so we'll see how that goes. But 7 Year Slip was absolutely amazing. Next we have The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I think this will go down to, I can't believe I rated it 5 stars. I don't know. I feel like I have to separate the books from the TV show because they're like two completely different things. I didn't like the TV show. Like, okay, I watched it and I did like it, but like I didn't like it. But however, I don't know. I just think it was cute when I like read it such a long time ago, but like thinking back to it, I don't think I would love it as much now, but it's like still, it's still good. And next up we have Things We Hide from the Light. Actually, I'm gonna do this one first because it's the first book. We have Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I remember this was like my favorite book for like the longest time ever, but I don't know. I feel like I really have to like reread it because it's been so long. I'm gonna put it in You're Good, But You're Not Great. I just feel like it's hard to compare that book to all the ones that I have in my 5-star tier. So we'll keep her down there, and I'm gonna put Things We Hide from the Light there as well. Like, I remember loving them both, but I don't know. They just don't compare, and also I've never been like compelled to pick up the 3rd book still. So obviously can't be that amazing. Next up we have Too Late by Colleen Hoover. I'm gonna this is crazy because it's like one of her most recent releases, but I really can't remember too much other than like some stalker. But so don't really remember her. Next up, Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Also don't really remember her either. I remember like a pilot. That's it. Verity. I remember this one a little bit. No, I don't. I lied. Sorry. I don't really remember her, but maybe I kind of do want to reread it before the movie comes out because I feel like I'll definitely go watch it, but I guess it'll inspire me to go reread the book. Next, we'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. This is the 3rd book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I remember really loving this for the end and kind of how it worked out between Belly and Conrad and Jeremiah. So I really like that part, but I also can't believe I rated it 5 stars because it does not compare whatsoever to any of those books. All right, last but not least is Wildcard by Elsie Silver. This is the final book in the Rosehill series, and I absolutely love Bash and Gwen's relationship, but I'm gonna like sit here and be so for real. I don't know how that got into my 5-star list because I distinctly remember loving the 2nd book so much and just like the relationship that we had between the characters, and I would say that would be my favorite as well. So how did that get? I don't know. However, we'll put it in You're Good But Not Great because it's definitely, if it's not a 5, it's definitely a 4 because I absolutely loved it. But I think it was just like in the moment, feeling great. Not a 5 though. Probably like a 4.5 even. Maybe a 4.5, but should go down a little bit. All right, guys. So that is all of my 5-star reads, and I'm really so shocked on how this list turned out. There are still so many valid 5-star reads in my eyes, and honestly, I love that for myself because finding a 5-star read is one of the best feelings you can have. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video and hopefully you got some good book recommendations out of it. I know this really sparked me wanting to go reread so many books, so I'm gonna go ahead and go do that, and you guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!